Amongst the chaos and panic in the last week or two, I thought it'd be a good time to take a break and cover some of the most promising and influential cryptocurrencies in the space and actually just bring to light some of their recent accomplishments, because ultimately some of these projects are just doing amazing things. That's as simple as I can possibly put it. Now, the extract you're about to see was actually from my live stream. I do live streams once a week. So if you don't already, please come across, stay in the community chat of my YouTube channel, because I post when I actually do these live streams every single week. And of course, I answer all your questions over there. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. So AVAX has got some pretty interesting news that have come out. So quite a while ago now, 27th of May, right? The automated blockchain builder from AVAX provides builders with access to no-code blockchain pool that offers 24/7 technical support and dedicated infrastructure team to help them manage a custom network. What the hell am I talking about here, right? It's a no-code, pretty much Web3 launchpad called AVAX, but it's by AVAX themselves, by Ava Labs, right? So Ava Labs, the company behind Layer 1 blockchain Avalanche, is launching AVAX, a Web3 launchpad. Get this, that helps businesses build no-code, fully managed blockchain ecosystems. The AVAX product has 4 main components: an automated blockchain builder, managed validators, comprehensive data tools, and chain interoperability. This is huge. This is huge. And one thing I've noticed about Avalanche is that they're hyper-focused to onboarding Web 2. They're really focusing on that right now. They've got so many integrations coming through, and you know, they've got massive funds, multi-billion dollar funds now tokenized on the network, right? The automated blockchain builder provides companies with access to no-code blockchain pool that offers 24/7 technical support. That might not seem like that important, but that really is for developers, especially because blockchain is so global. It's really important that obviously things are 24/7, just like crypto in a way, and a dedicated infrastructure team to help manage a custom network. Each blockchain operated through AVAX uses precompiled smart contracts that are customizable and built into the blockchain protocol. This is some huge stuff, right? And unfortunately, Ava doesn't get as much credit as what they really should. And that's honestly, I fall into that category. I don't talk about them enough. And honestly, I haven't really spent too much time in them, because I actually, and I must be completely transparent, I was working for a Web3 company for about 10 months before I got into this full time, and they were heavily Ava based. And it kind of put me off a little bit, because you guys know me, I like my infrastructure projects. I like to find the projects really making a difference. And so I was never exposed to that sort of Avalanche. I saw it every single day and I got sick of it. But nothing obviously bad came out of that. But I now take a step back and have a look at it, you know, very objectively, and actually diving into the fundamentals, not just the technology. And I'm like, wow, this is an amazing network, all right? Subnets are awesome. They're just like shards in a way, okay? So what is AVAX? Well, it's going to help a hell of a lot, right? If you guys don't know, creating a new network is extremely daunting for anyone and everyone involved, pretty much, right? So very expensive. So by going through AVAX, your developers can save $1 million a year, and it's 95% time reduction, okay, and 85% cost reduction, right? So that's huge. That's huge, because this is a barrier to entry, as I said, for Web 2. And it's really good to see Avalanche actually is one of those very few networks looking to already start to onboard the mass market. Now, to me, it feels like, you know, things are starting to ramp up in the sense that, like, you know, crypto is becoming more, I guess, welcoming to Web 2, to the point of when the floodgates do open, when regulation does enable businesses to come in, I think the larger businesses will port over first. And that is what we're seeing, right? Now, don't get me wrong, there's, you know, I'm guessing a lot of small businesses in the world that, you know, leverage some of these networks like Polygon, for example. But definitely, I think it's the reverse, you know, typically for new things, we'll find smaller businesses start to poke around a bit, and then we'll see the larger guys come in and say, hey, you know, things are established, let's move in. But I actually think it's going to be opposite, right? I think unless they're already like a branch of a large enterprise or something of the sort, I think we'll see the big boys move in first. And we're even seeing some bloody nations like Multiverse X, they're already partnering with Romania. Albeit, you know, most of it is NFT marketplaces, but it's kind of like indicating, you know, our foot's in the door, all right? Our foot's in the door, okay? So also, Ava Labs launches Avalanche Arcade. I'm just going to say arcade, it's Arcade 3, right? To help game studios enter Web 3. Again, right? Web 2 helping Web3 here. Avalanche Arcade is connecting traditional game publishers with crypto firms to help bring legacy IP into the fledgling, I don't even know what that word is, Web3 gaming space. Important because I think we can all agree that Web3 gaming is going to be like one of the most prominent narratives in the next bull market. So yeah, this is some big stuff. Ava Labs, the crypto firm supporting the Avalanche blockchain, announced today that it is launching Avalanche Arcade, a collaborative program for traditional game developers to explore blockchain game integrations. Now, Japanese metaverse and entertainment firms GREE and, don't know how to pronounce that, have joined Arcade as two of its earliest partners, okay? Avalanche Arcade promises to connect so-called Web2 game makers with existing esports organization, blockchain gaming guilds, and Web3 game studios building on Avalanche. The program will offer strategies on regulatory compliance and how NFTs, prize pools, esports marketing, and in-game tokens can be implemented on chain. So, as I mentioned to you, the whole sort of narrative of what I'm trying to bring to you here is Avalanche is actually marketing themselves very effectively, and I think they really are penetrating the market. It's one of those things where I think, you guys know my stance on general purpose networks, right? I think Ethereum, as a lot of people do agree with me, a lot of people disagree, that it is probably going to be like the number one general purpose network for a very long time, okay? Because while they're slow and methodical, they will eventually upgrade, the network will be sharded, it'll be modular, and therefore it'll be able to sustain a lot of networks, right? Or even shards pretty much can become their own networks, right? So just like Aurora is for Near Protocol, right? So yeah, I do think that there can be competitors to Ethereum, and I think Ava Labs might be one of them, but Ava Labs is also hyper-focused within the metaverse area, I believe, because they recently partnered with, who was it now? One of the cloud infrastructure providers, Alibaba, right? And specifically any network or company wanting to create a metaverse through Alibaba as, to support their infrastructure will be instantly added to Avalanche. So yeah, I do think that these guys are niching specifically into the metaverse gaming, that sort of like online world. And we're seeing with the Apple glasses or whatever they're called, the metaverse augmented reality glasses, that this is going to happen, right? And we saw obviously Meta somewhat recently fail at this, but I do think it's going to it's going to ultimately end up coming into fruition. I just think a little bit later than people anticipated, right? We were supposed to be floating around on hoverboards at this stage, right? But we're not, okay? Things do take a little bit of time. All right, let's get into HBAR, guys. So we got some more news here with these guys, but I want to say for starters, look at this. 11 billion total mainnet transactions. You know how phenomenal that is? That's amazing, guys. Look at the TPS they're pushing, by the way. Most networks can't do that. Most networks poddle around 30 to 40 TPS. They say they can do 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, but you never see them above a couple hundred, but not HBAR, okay? And again, like these guys hit 10 billion, like not too long ago. I swear it felt like a week or two ago, right? And they're at really 1.1 billion. So big props there. And let's break this down a little bit, right? So the transaction volume for these guys is phenomenal, right? We're on Dragon Glass here, and we can see every single day this last week, we're probably averaging about what? About 77 billion, million rather, transactions a day, right? So that's a lot. And so like when we, I talk about token absorption all the time. Like how is the token grabbing all of the transactions, processing on the network? And obviously that does depend, and it should vary depending on the network and type of transaction, but we're getting very technical here. So I want to say, like, we look at that, and that's a hell of a lot of transactions, but I want to show you guys something very important, right? We head over to HBAR here and we can have a look at the fees. So how much are they absorbing, right? And as you can see here, HBAR has a very comprehensive and easy to follow, like 3-step guide on how like transactions are, how the fees of the transactions rather are like calculated, okay? And if we just go to the very most basic type of transaction, so cryptocurrency service, crypto transfer, done. Me to you, simple transaction, right? Well, we come in here, the API call estimate is about 0.000, well, whatever that is. It's pretty much 1/100th or 1/1000th of a cent, or a dollar, rather. So that's not much. And that's like the standard HBAR fee. I think all of us know, like if we hit consensus service or token service, right, and we go to token transfer, it's the same, okay? So they're pretty much all the same, unless you start getting into the real complicated stuff, yeah, like, you know, you start doing fiddly stuff here, especially with creating new tokens and stuff, you're going to obviously start to get higher fees, of course, but generally speaking, 99% of people are using that. So therefore, we can come over here, do some quick maths, and go, okay, on average, it's about 77 million transactions a day. Multiply that by, you know, whatever that might be, the current average price, fee rather, and that's about $7,700 a day. So you can see they're processing all these transactions there. Remember, this is just a standard fee. I'm guessing that all these transactions aren't just standard, but it's only $7,700 a day. Now, I want to say for the record, they got more money coming in through other places, but you can see how easy it is just to find this information, right? And then you can begin to go, okay, that's per day. Let's work it out how much per week and then how much per year. And then you can start to figure out roughly how much revenue. You might tack on some extra stuff there. And then so you can obviously get an idea of how you know, profitable that specific you know, token model is, if the utility is actually as good as what they say it is, right? So this, yeah, isn't that much, but that's a day. Remember, that's a single day, but they are processing lots of transactions. Now, I want to say they are upgrading this transaction fee model. They are upgrading it to be a little bit more dynamic, meaning it's going to move and shift depending on demand and stuff like that. So I like that because it also helps with security on the network as well. If you tend to find the protocols that have like, and they do boast this, you know, 0.0000001 cent fees. It's like Solana in a way. Like, you can DDoS the hell out of that. You might spend $5-6 grand or whatever it might be, but if you push enough transactions to the network, you're going to overload the hell out of it because it's so cheap in the fee department, and then it's, you know, you've DDoS the network, right? Don't do that, anyone, all right? Actually, it might be good. I shouldn't say that. It might be good to stress test some networks, but I don't think anyone's want to spending that money to do that. Okay, let's move on. So the roadmap, guys. Now, the roadmap here, I wanted to bring this to your attention, and I mentioned this in a recent video as well, but I thought I wanted to bring it to a larger audience. By the way, guys, before I continue, hit the like button if you haven't already. It really helps me out, helps push the live stream out to more people. Thank you so much. But yeah, so the community nodes were supposed to be enabled in Q2 of this year, which, as we all know, we're past Q2. We're in a Q3 right now, of course. So, you know, continue the HBAR path to decentralization through the introduction of a set of permission community-run mainnet nodes. Now, please let me know in just a second if I'm getting this wrong, but the actual HIP, or the Hedera Improvement Proposal, that was supposed to begin this sort of decentralized upgrade, if you will, is rejected. Okay, so status rejected. The reason being is this HIP has been rejected, and the proposed idea will not be implemented or pursued further. What even does that actually mean, right? That's kind of scary, all right? So I thought, if anyone knows the answer, I've scoured the internet, don't get me wrong. I've tried to look for the answer. I don't want to push out FUD, but yeah, that's not the best thing. Not the best thing. Okay, so I wanted to bring that to your attention, and apparently it's supposed to be being upgraded, or at least enhanced, over here in Q3. So at the end of this month, or quarter rather. Okay, but we do have some bullish information to counteract that bearish news. The HBAR Foundation has collaborated with Red Swan, okay, marketplace. So this gets really interesting, guys. You really want to listen to this. Red Swan CRE builds its token studio on Hedera for real-world asset tokenization. This is where the world is moving, and we've got some more news on a different network that also attains to some real-world asset news, okay? Some big stuff, and it is happening. You'll see why in just a second, right? So today, we're excited to announce that Red Swan CRE, the commercial real estate company worth $5 billion AUM, is launching its token studio on Hedera for real-world asset tokenization. We aren't talking NFTs, guys. This is the real deal. Last year, Boston Consulting Group predicted that $16 trillion in assets could be tokenized by 2030, with real estate being the largest asset class, obviously, okay? Now, tokenization of real-world assets includes increased liquidity, fairer market prices, and a reduction in management fees. This, in turn, enables increased market participation and lower costs whilst upholding the inherent security benefits of the blockchain. Again, what does blockchain offer the world? Borderless, accessible, anyone can do anything online from the comfort of their own home, and there's no barrier to entry, or at least limited barrier to entries, right? Recognizing this, Red Swan decided to launch its token studio on the Hedera network. Through this new platform, users will be able to participate in creating and investing in digital security tokenized assets. By fractionalizing assets on the platform, the studio allows users to own a piece of the commercial real estate market that has traditionally been out of reach for the smaller investor, so on and so forth. Basically, you guys get the deal. This talks a little bit more about Red Swan. If you really want to know more, you can obviously look up the news. It'll be like the first link, okay? This is some big stuff, right? So you guys know HBAR is processing a hell of a lot of transactions, right? A mind-bending amount of transactions. It's like, I think it's beating every other network out there right now. I'm 99% sure it is, okay? You guys can fact check me on that. So this is some very bullish news, okay? And the fact that they're getting even deeper into, possibly looking at, partnering with Red Swan here and, tokenizing actual assets is even more bullish, right? I think they mentioned Red Swan decided to leverage Hedera for its highly optimized and built for purpose HTS or Hedera token service that allows real world assets to be tokenized with a best in class combination of speed, blah, 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 blah. And you guys know from watching my videos, as we can see here, this was from a video I was comparing Hedera's enterprise model against Algorand's enterprise model. We can see the Hedera token service is like their flagship sort of enterprise grade solution, or one of, should I say. Their consensus service really is their flagship model here, but this is definitely offering all the possible necessities an enterprise would want to come onto Web 2, right? So go ahead and watch that video if you haven't already, but let's move on. As you can see here, the marketplace is coming soon. This is on redswan.io itself. So yeah, some big stuff happening here, guys. Okay, so yeah, this is something to look out for. Definitely when this is live and pushing, we can ideally see more transactions being pushed through to the network, therefore obviously more revenue coming in, and obviously hopefully the price should go up in that case, right? Now over here, I want to finish up by saying some old news, of course, but still, nevertheless, it's good news. Hedera held a governing council meeting in the actual Google Cloud headquarters itself, right? So this is some very good news because ultimately, they're creating connections, and the more connections they create, the more market penetration and the more specified they can actually get into different sort of markets around the world. Okay, so let's move on here. We're talking a bit about Polygon Network now. Deutsche Telekom announces support for the Polygon blockchain infrastructure, right? Now, these guys are actually also in the news in a later coin we're going to talk about. So from what it appears, they've done the same thing twice now. Now, of course, I'm kind of collating news across the last few weeks. So yeah, anyway, they're kind of partnering with Polygon because they've become a Polygon validator. All right, so yeah, this is quite good news. It obviously shows that there's a connection there, and these guys are wanting to enter themselves into the sort of Web3 space. And again, they do the exact same thing. They become a validator. I'm going to spoiler alert with Energy Web Token, all right? So yeah, big company. You guys should probably know a little bit about this company already. It's a German-based company. I think, yeah, so number of employees over 200,000 as of this year, and the revenue they've been pulling through 114.4 billion euros in 2022. And that's euros too, right? So yeah, big, huge company here. It's just good to see that they are entering the Web3 space. It's very limited. They're just becoming a validator, and while that's quite important, it doesn't really have a direct effect on the price. It's just good to know, okay? Now, Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank backed 𝗡cie deploys on Polygon blockchain. So a new sort of application, dApp 𝗡cie, has deployed on Polygon backed by Deutsche Bank and Credit Suisse, essentially, right? So 𝗡cie, which offers custody, tokenization, and trading of digital assets, has linked with the Ethereum scaling network Polygon as the tokenization of real-world assets gained traction among financial institutions and large companies. So yes, more tokenization news here. So yeah, this is some good stuff, right? The firm raised $65 million in funding in a round led by Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank in February. Now, Deutsche Bank obviously is a pretty big bank, and you guys should probably all know Credit Suisse, right? Now, most tier 1 financial institutions are entering the space and building capabilities to manage tokenized securities. 𝗡cie said in an email, they all want a blockchain agnostic and token agnostic infrastructure. Now, suffice to say, Polygon is at the center of pretty much anything to do with Ethereum now. I know a friend of mine, he's also a YouTuber, and he mentions that he's got a business just down the road from where he lives. It's a small little company using Polygon. So yeah, these guys are getting their feet in every single door possible, right? And also some final news here for Polygon. FIFA, matter maker EA Sports to add Nike NFTs to games. Now, Nike's Polygon-based .swoosh gear is coming to future EA Sports games in a blockbuster integration announced on Thursday, okay? So Obviously, sportswear giant and Web3 powerhouse Nike, I don't know about the Web3 powerhouse part of that, announced a collaboration with video game maker EA Sports on Thursday with what appear to be planned digital collectibles of Nike branded gear via the Swoosh platform that will be integrated into future EA games. So, yeah, I mean, what's more to say? I guess ultimately, Polygon has some of the biggest connections in the entire space. Let's just all go ahead and say that right now, okay? And so, you know, this is some pretty important and big news. I get it for at least other networks, but for Polygon at this stage is almost like a given, right? It's just like happens on the daily almost at this point, right? So, but it's nevertheless, it's very, very big news, okay? And, you know, with the recent downturn in the market, we've gotten Polygon at a pretty good price. As far as I remember, it dropped down to about 50 cents. It might have dropped a little bit beneath that, but it's still, we got in at quite a good price there, or we could have gotten a good price, right? So we have really good discounts right now. Now, MINA protocol. So MINA has a new dApp on the network as the first decentralized exchange ever, right? And that's, I'm going to say Lumina, right? Nice little play on words there. Lumina leverages MINA's unique tech stack to offer ZK KYC-enabled enterprise-ready DEX. There's a lot in a little amount of words right there, okay? So it's ZK KYC enabled, which is a benefit of zero knowledge proofs, right? You can pretty much do KYC with the end user like you and I having no sort of qualms about, hey, they're looking at my driver's license or whatever. It's all done in a very private manner. And therefore, it's almost enterprise. Well, I don't know exactly what they're doing for the back end and how fast it'll be, but I think a part of the reason why it's enterprise ready is because they can do that, right? So it's, obviously enterprises need to follow KYC AML laws, and therefore this obviously is a big benefit in that case. I just thought I would mention that because MINA's got a very big roadmap for 2023, guys, and also moving into 2025 as well. You guys should have seen my videos on MINA, but it's like jam-packed, right? There's a new network and they're doing so much in such a short period of time. If they actually come out with all of these upgrades and they don't postpone them, which honestly, it wouldn't surprise me, it's going to be massive, massive for the growth of the network, right? And honestly, we can benefit from that quite severely. Next is Moonbeam, okay? So Uniswap has deployed on Moonbeam as a dApp, right? So the V3 has migrated over. They just pretty much compiled the code. But ultimately, it's a pretty bullish thing for Moonbeam, right? Because now you have like the largest DEX in crypto pretty much leveraging your platform, right? So it's going to absorb all of the sort of demand coming through Polkadot into one place. It's like funneling all of the sort of DEX-based demand into Moonbeam, right? So it's a win-win, okay? Because Uniswap wins because they're getting more traffic, okay? And the way that Moonbeam is created is that you can actually share, ideally in future, once the network is in full form, you can share TVL across any deployment, right? As long as Moonbeam has a connection to it, it's all there, okay? So you're not trying to fragment liquidity, which is really good, okay? So yeah, it's also good obviously for Moonbeam because then obviously there's more traffic going to be coming through because Uniswap's a pretty name brand at this place place in the crypto market, right? So yeah, I want to also mention, guys, Moonbeam is at a big discount right now. So you should all know this if you're a Moonbeam fan, right? 149 mil market cap. What the F, right? This was at like 500 million about a day or two ago, right? I'm obviously exaggerating here, but it was, you know, pretty much at 500 million about a month or two ago. It's crazy, crazy. So yeah, we're at like all-time lows. If we scroll down here to all-time low, okay, 2 days ago at 21 cents. 21 cents. We're 22 cents right now. Again, okay, I'm the one to believe that we're going to go a lot lower. So am I investing dollar cost averaging in Moonbeam right now? No. Okay, no. But definitely it will be happening once I get a better grasp of the market. If you've seen my recent video where I go over what could possibly be happening soon, I kind of want the dust to settle a little bit over the next month/2, see where the market's at. Hey, if I miss a pump in the next couple of days because of these Hinman documents, I really don't care. I really don't care. There'll be more opportunities to come. So I'd rather not take my chances in that case. And if I can, get in at like prices we'll never see again. Okay. Now, yes, Moonbeam actually is performing extremely well. It's actually beating not just Polkadot related networks in terms of its metrics, but also the global crypto market as well. It's like smashing even layer 1 networks, okay, which is great to see. We can see here 20.84 million transactions. And as you can see, kind of what I was saying to you guys earlier with HBAR is that they're actually pushing 0.4 TPS right now. What even does that mean? I don't even understand what that means, right? 0.4. How can you do, you know, pretty much a half of a transaction? I don't know. Let me know down below. But Nevertheless, that's a lot of transactions, okay? The good news also is they did secure the next spot, so they are secure for a parachain, at least until 2025, and they did that based off their own sort of back pocket, okay, all through all the transaction fees. Now, speaking of transactions, as we can see here, there haven't been too much, right? So as you can see, we're pretty much, if we average this out, it's more or less about 25, 30,000 every single day, okay? So we're not talking large amounts. Again, we compare this with HBAR, and it's like, you know, two ends of the spectrum here. But that's not to say that obviously Moonbeam isn't doing things correctly. They're a newer network than HBAR. They're more niche because they're obviously integrated to Polkadot, and they're kind of like an interoperability solution rather than their own sort of layer one traditional network. So nevertheless, a big bull on Moonbeam, so that is also very good news. Now, we'll finish up here with some more 𝗡cie Telekom partner here with Energy Web Token. Again, the exact same thing as what happened before, except it's obviously a different network. So they're pretty much becoming or at least supporting the network via becoming a validator. All right. So yeah, I mean, this again isn't next gen news. But what it sort of tells me is that, hey, you know, they've created a connection here. So that obviously Energy Web, which I'm an extreme bull on, okay, I don't have a lot of tokens in, but I do think it's extremely underrated, and it's pretty much one of a kind right now in crypto, and they have some massive partners that obviously they can now leverage a new sort of partner, okay? So this is some big stuff. A subsidiary, 𝗡cie Telekom MMS, which is a subsidiary, recently joined the Energy Web Foundation's established ecosystem of energy majors and IT service providers by validating Energy Web's decentralized operating system. So yes, while this wasn't all, of course, the most recent news up to the last week, it's still news that hasn't really been spoken about because it's been overshadowed by some of the more, I guess you could say, skeptical or dangerous topics in the industry right now. Hint, hint, the SEC. So I hope you have enjoyed the clip from today. Again, live streams once a week, every single Monday, technically Sunday for those of you over in the US. All right, guys, take good care. Talk to you soon.